That's where I got hit the first time. That's what knocked me off the scooter.
A routine trip home for 82-year-old veteran.
I said, that's not going to happen. And the next thing you know, I was on the ground.
Welcome to Moose and Loose. My name's David. In today's top stories, we've got a couple of guys here that were charged for some terrible plans they had in Canada to do some pow-pow, some boom-boom in Toronto. Now Conservative Andrew Scheer is calling out Justin Trudeau and the Liberals on how they let these people into our country. So first up, we got this clip here that Pierre Poilievre posted, which sums up the situation. It says, Trudeau allowed an apparent, this set of letters, person, T-word, to allegedly dismember someone on camera, to immigrate to Canada, become a citizen. Why is this man granted citizenship? How was he free to allegedly plot a Bad Times event in Toronto? So this guy is on video before he moved here, before he became a Canadian citizen. He's on video taking someone's, popping someone's top. And then he became a Canadian citizen. Trudeau and the Liberals let this guy become a citizen.
The Conservatives are calling for an emergency meeting to investigate how a man immigrated to Canada after he allegedly participated in violence overseas with the so-called Islamic State. National security sources have told Global News an ISIS video released in 2015 is believed to show 62-year-old Ahmed Fouad Mustafa El-Didi dismembering a prisoner with a sword. El-Didi was still approved for Canadian citizenship after the video was released. The RCMP arrested El-Didi and his 26-year-old son at a Toronto area hotel last week as they were allegedly about to commit a terrorist attack. The elder El-Didi was also charged with committing an aggravated assault for ISIS in 2015.
Trudeau bringing in the worst of the worst, quite literally T-word people. We're going to call them pterodactyls from now on. So we've got pterodactyls just swooping into our country, wreaking havoc, and Trudeau let them in. Come on in, guys. You want some citizenship? No problem. We got you. So here's a press conference where Andrew Scheer calls out Trudeau and the Liberals for this absolutely deplorable situation.
Last week, Canadians were shocked and horrified to find out of a terrorist plot planned by a father and son who appear to have links to ISIS. Evidence exists that the father was involved in a horrific torture attack in an ISIS video. Shortly after the events in the video, this individual was admitted into Canada and later was granted citizenship by the Trudeau government. This is a colossal failure of Trudeau's national security system. Canadians have a right to know what went wrong. How did this individual gain entry into Canada and obtain Canadian citizenship? Canadians also have a right to know if there are anybody else, if there's anyone else in Canada with similar backgrounds who are granted entry into our country. My colleague, Frank Caputo, the acting public safety critic for the Conservative Party, has written a letter to Dominic LeBlanc, Minister of Public Safety, demanding that the details surrounding this foiled terrorist plot be made public so that Canadians can get answers. So today, Conservatives are calling on the Bloc and NDP to support our efforts to recall the Public Safety Committee so that we can investigate all the aspects of this disturbing and shocking event. To date, Minister LeBlanc has not made these details public. That's why the committee meeting and the committee investigation is so critical.
You've got to wonder, we still don't have the names of the traitors in our government. Did those traitors have something to do with bringing in these pterodactyls into our country? Nothing comes out of these investigations, nothing. Canada's a failed state. Yeah, I mean, they're just doing whatever they want and there's no accountability for any of their actions.
Well, father and son are facing terrorism charges in connection with an alleged plot to carry out an attack in Toronto. The RCMP held a news conference today at their detachment in Newmarket to provide an update on the investigation. They say that the pair were arrested at a hotel in Richmond Hill on the weekend, and they were in advanced stages of planning a serious violent attack in Toronto. The RCMP are alleging that the father and son knowingly facilitated terrorist activity in the GTA. 62-year-old Ahmed El-Didi and 26-year-old Mustafa El-Didi are facing terrorism-related charges as well as conspiracy to commit murder. and weapon possession for a dangerous purpose. The father is also charged with aggravated assault.
There is no ongoing threat to citizens in the city of Toronto. We're still trying to establish exactly who were the intended targets of this attack.
And police say that there's no evidence to suggest that there is a remaining risk to the public. Both men are scheduled to appear in court tomorrow. And joining us right now with more on this investigation is CTV's public safety analyst and former OPP commissioner, Chris Lewis. Okay, Chris, first off, I just have to get your thoughts on this.
Well, this is a strange one, to be honest. I mean, it's something that came up quick. They acted quick. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. But the RCMP, of course, once the charges are laid, they're really covered under a publication ban and can't release details that would jeopardize the integrity of the ongoing criminal case, as well as potentially identify techniques like, whether it be informants or agents, undercover officers, surveillance, electronic interception, things like that. And so we're stuck with this. It sounds big and ugly, and probably would have been if it happened. In the meantime, we really don't know what the heck happened.
This is absolutely absurd. Let me guess, they're going to let these guys out on bail. They're probably already out on bail. They're probably already walking the streets. Trudeau probably came by and handed them the keys to the cells and let them out himself. Have they been released with no bail yet? When did they become Canadian citizens? Isn't it awesome Liberals delivered Canada an international reputation for harboring and protecting T-word militants? Yeah, we're getting the worst of the world's worst now, because nothing happens in this country. Unless you're a Canadian in the Freedom Convoy, then stuff happens. I lived in the third world for a couple of years, lived through 3 coups, didn't realize I was developing life skills for back home. Next up, we got the Palestinian protesters taking over Montreal War Memorial because they don't respect our heritage and our country. I don't know if that music's copyright, probably. It always is, so we'll just turn that off. But yeah, I mean, what is this? So next up, I've got this here, and these are the only couple frames I can show you. These are a bunch of guys in Vancouver. You can see they're wearing turbans. They're clearly from India. But what you can't see, which I can't show you, is they're holding things up like this, like this. They got boomsticks they're holding in the air like this. Now, you might be wondering, why is this a problem? Because this is Vancouver. They're holding a bunch of illegal boomsticks in Vancouver. What are these guys? A bunch of T-word people? As posted here, it says highly disturbing individuals recklessly waving their boomsticks at a parent wedding celebration in Vancouver. Imagine the outrage if they were white, conservative, or farmers. Yeah. The RCMP needs to round these guys up and get them out of here, because clearly they have illegal boomsticks. So in the comments here, it says Surrey RCMP are now investigating as this took place in Surrey, BC. Next up, we got this story here. Only in Trudeau's Canada would you have a veteran, an 82-year-old veteran here who gets beat on the street by 4 guys. Trudeau's bringing in the worst of the worst, and now they're coming after the best of our best.
That's where I got hit the first time. That's what knocked me off the scooter.
A routine trip home for 82-year-old veteran and Legion President Jim DeMars turned violent while he was riding his scooter near the Penticton Library on Friday.
I may be 82 years old, but it takes a little bit to knock me down. But when you're sucker punched, when you're not expecting it, it's a whole different.
According to DeMars, the assault happened along this area of the sidewalk. He said he was riding a scooter when he encountered about 4 people who had the sidewalk blocked with their shopping carts. He asked them if they could move it out of the way, and they told him to give them his cigarette and money, and that's when he was struck.
I said, that's not going to happen. And the next thing you know, I was on the ground. He hit me, and then all of them jumped in. All of them. And they were kicking and punching. And
this isn't like, come on. 4 guys on an 82-year-old man. I have to laugh because he's just such a hard-nosed 82-year-old. To tell them no and being 82 years old is legendary, but we have no policing in this country. People just do whatever they want. Unless you're a Canadian and you protested in the past or whatever, you don't want to wear a mask or anything like that, then you're someone that, needs to be put in jail and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not, you can do whatever you want in this country.
I took a beating.
DeMars said the attack from what he believes are 4 men went on for a few minutes, leaving the veteran bruised, bloodied, and afraid.
I'm going to be extra cautious. If I see a group there sitting again, I think I'll take another route.
The alleged assault leaving the community and its officials shocked.
Jim DeMarche is one of the toughest men I know, but that absolutely shouldn't have happened.
No one should be the victim of violent crime, but particularly to understand that a group of 4 individuals swarmed an 82-year-old man who's also a veteran. It's particularly appalling crimes.
An incident that DeMarce decided not to report to police, as he believes the justice system wouldn't put forward proper punishment.
We're going to give him a slap on the wrist, and the judge is going to berate the hell out of him, and he'll be back on the streets. That's just the way it is.
DeMarce says that he ended up bruised and sore, but he's worried that the next person might not be so lucky.
It's sad when people know there's no point in calling the police or having someone charged because our courts are a joke and don't take crime or bail seriously. Victims have no rights. Criminals have all the rights. Sad state of affairs in Canada, yeah. So next up, we've got a pretty crazy situation here. The accident happened at Heartland Town Centre. So it's this guy's car. So he is like shook, but he's fine. I don't know what happened there. He went over some of those medians and signs and flipped. How does one flip a car in a parking lot? Good question. You've got to be going pretty quick. Next up, we got a clip here of Bonnie Henry. So if you weren't aware, in BC, you couldn't go back to work as a nurse if you didn't get that pokey thing from the World Event. They still had mandates here, run by this buffoon, Bonnie Henry. She's an absolute disgrace to this province. In this video, she still talks about how the bad thing, the word that sounds like David, if you put a co in front of that thing, she says it's still a problem. It's still a problem, but they're lifting the mandates. Now the poor nurses who haven't been working for 4 years, they can finally go back to work. Bonnie Henry should be fired for her role in all of this. Henry is a bloody disaster and disgrace. She should be fired long ago. Lay off the wine, Bonnie. 2020 called. They want their press conference back. She sure likes that power. Rustad should promise to fire Henry. That would be an election winner. Yeah, so John Rustad here, he's running for Conservatives at BC. If he says that, he's going to get a lot of votes. We got this story here. It says police in Abbotsford, BC are warning the public of the release of Amul Sadhu and Navpreet Dalwali on bail. The pair are charged with conspiracy to commit M-word and D-word trafficking and pow-pow stick offenses. So they've got some bad stuff going on. These are bad guys. So instead of keeping them in jail, they're just going to warn the public and let them out because Canada is such a stupid country. What do we say anymore? Our government is run by boneheads. Trudeau's Canada. Don't warn us, keep them in custody. Yeah, liberals importing the best and the brightest. Next up, we've got this story. It says Leftwing Activists block traffic in Toronto. They're basically blocking on-ramps onto the highway. This is illegal. This is primary infrastructure. You can't do this. These people obviously don't know the rules of Canada. I doubt they've been here all that long, and they seem to don't respect our laws or our country at all.
Justice for Tyler! Justice for Tyler!
Sounds like they're saying justice for Tyler. I don't know who they're talking about. Canada is a safe haven for the T-word people. Yeah, it seems it is. Ban face masks in Canada. Yeah, we really need to. That's not the only angle that we have, though, of this. We've got this. So they completely swarmed the front of this guy's truck, and he's not having it. This one's posted on Harrison Faulkner's page. It says, right now, pro-Palestinian protesters are attempting to block on-ramp to the Gardiner Expressway in Toronto. This looks like a cop talking to this guy. The cop should be putting cuffs on this person and putting them in jail. So I'm not sure what happened here, but you can see this guy's already on the ground at the start of the video, and these two nearly get run over. That is very close. I mean, do stupid things, win stupid prizes. And you can't blame this person. You've got 7 people swarming your truck. Yeah, this guy's probably fearing for his life. Now, we've got a couple other angles here, and one of these guys seems to be present in all of these events here.
Why are you talking? Get off the road. Yo, we're going walking our way. Move it. We're still doing our thing here. Off the road. Get off the road. Off the road.
So the cops are telling them to get off the road, but they don't comply. So just put them in cuffs and put them in jail. What's the deal here?
Off the road or be arrested. Off the road.
Don't call her sweetheart.
No, we're trying to keep moving, but you guys are... Is that right?
We'll go back and literally are telling us to leave. And
So this guy here, he's at all of them.
they're telling us to stop. Like, fucking leave over here. Get off their land. Get off their land. Get off their land. Get off their land. Get off their land.
So what if somebody is like trapped back there waiting for all this because they have some sort of horrible injury and they need to get to the hospital? That's why you can't block infrastructure. Cuff them, get them off the road. This is disgraceful. These cops need to actually grow a pair and actually act like cops for once. You'll notice in this clip here, it's that same guy. He's in all these situations. They need to just put this guy in jail. I'm confused. They're saying from the sea to the river. Wasn't it from the river to the sea? Then Palestine can be free. I'm pretty sure the water doesn't flow that way anyways. We're not getting into that. This stuff needs to stop. This is arguably the darkest time in our history, I believe. Yeah, it's getting there. It's probably it. This is probably the darkest time. Very first officer should have reached forward, ripped off their masks, then took a big old picture and packed them one by one. So here's a few other shots. This is that guy that's basically, he's been all of them. There he is, unmasked. It's the same problem, people, in all of these protests, all these events. I mean, blocking the highways, that's no longer a protest. That's just straight up breaking the law. I don't know why he's still free. He should be in jail. Where are the cops? Oh, I forgot. We don't have any. Ladies and gentlemen, I've looked into the future and you will not believe this crap. Bruce Jenner and O.J. Simpson. Pretty sure that 1936 was actually the worst opening ceremony for the Olympics. Challenge accepted. Trudeau letting in the worst of the worst. Now they're planning big boom events in Canada. It's almost like he's planned it this way.